To go? G'day guys and welcome to the Purebred Reds Adelaide United Fan TV. We're here tonight at the state-of-the-art new facilities at Ellis Park where the Adelaide Comets are based, and I'm here with two Comets legends, Elias Demourtzidis and Dimi Pana. We're here tonight to preview the game against Melbourne City tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. at Ellis Park. We're going to speak to both of these guys about their past in regards to their playing careers, coaching careers, and their association with Adelaide United, particularly Elias here, who I've got on my left. So we're going to get things underway. I'm going to start with you, Elias. Mr. Demourtzidis, now part of the Comets' first team coaching staff after the club recently parted ways with Theo Tsiumas. Demo, you were part of history during the final ever NSL season when you were signed as part of Adelaide United's inaugural squad. You ended up featuring in 14 matches throughout that season, though before a ball had even been kicked. What were your personal expectations regarding how the entire operation of entering a new team into the competition was going to pan out? It was a last-minute plan, and given that South Australia was very divided in terms of its supporter bases after we've been used to two clubs representing the state for such a long period of time, did you think that the club could ever anticipate the success of selling out our first ever home game and finishing third after the regular season? Long question, I know. Right. So I wanted to get you thinking, like from the start. You know?
You have now. I've got to go back. But
so we'll take you all the way back to 03.
Yeah, just seems like a long time ago. But look, so I had finished up from Sydney Olympic back then and come back to Adelaide back home, and my previous club, actually West Adelaide at that time, had folded, and I'd come back and I was a bit in limbo, sort of just waiting to see what was going to happen. Then I got a call to come and I think I started training with Adelaide City a few weeks out, and then the announcement came that there was this new team going to form. Majority of that team, that base of that team was from Adelaide City, and with a few extras like myself and others. And to be quite honest, at that time, no one really knew what to expect.
For sure.
As players, we just we trained, we tried to keep fit. We were united, excuse the pun. But so we were just waiting to hear what was going to happen, and slowly the news came out that there was a new team going to be formed, new coach had been appointed, and then from there we just sort of focused on what we needed to do on the pitch, as in what did we need to do to prepare for us to be successful on the pitch. There was a lot of other people involved that sort of were worried and concerned more about the club and how they're going to run it and how that was going to be successful. I know that in the first year it was all about getting out to the soccer community and promoting the team and the new club and trying to get them on board to buy into what was, I guess at the time, Pickard was trying to do. I don't know if I've answered that question, but is there any more?
No, I think that's a pretty fair answer. So, well before being a part of United's inaugural team, talk to us about your days of playing abroad, in Greece and England specifically. I know you didn't sign with anyone in England, but you had a trial there with Southend United, and obviously you were at Bulk for a small period of time as well in the Greek Super League.
Yeah, Pana would have told you about Southend.
He did. As a passionate Southend fan, which Dimitri is.
Yeah, all over the place. Pana was the only person that I've ever met outside of Southend that goes for Southend. But yeah, so what happened was, Okay, so
we're going back a while.
Yeah, we're going back a while. So after I had a scholarship in '99, I had a scholarship at the Institute of Sport under Steve O'Connor, was the coach of the AOS back then in Canberra. So I'd been invited to actually go to trial, along with actually Mark Graham, who's an Adelaide boy, to go on trial with Blackburn. Okay. Blackburn Rovers that was in '99, and long story short, we weren't allowed to go because Steve wouldn't let us go, but we had to finish our scholarship. At that time, we were both 18, and he said you can finish your scholarship in December and then you can do what you like. So I went across in January, and it was freezing. but it was a fantastic experience. It was a great club, magnificent facilities. So I was training there with the first team, doing really well for the first couple of weeks, and then first time in my life I got injured pretty bad. I think it was my groin actually, yeah. So I tore my groin and I just couldn't play the game, so bandaged it up, strapped it, did what I needed to do, played the game. We won 3-2, scored 2 goals, but just broke down straight after. And I just needed a lot of time to get it right. And they asked me, you know, stick around, you know, stick around and we'll until you get it right and that. And I was like, I don't know, I think I'm just going to go back. So I came back and ended up signing with South Melbourne, with Apostolos at South Melbourne. That was
very successful era, obviously.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I missed the trip to Brazil.
Yeah. This is the Club World Cup.
Club World Cup.
Yeah.
So everyone else came back in tops of Beckham and Scholes.
And you had $10 tops, as Ange describes tonight.
Yeah. And so I signed straight after that. And then I think that year, I think we came 3rd or 4th under Ange. In Greece, yes. And then I went back a couple of years after that. I reckon about a year or 2 after that, I went back and I tried with Southend. It was just never going to work there.
Yeah.
So I left and went to Mykonos for a holiday.
As you do.
As you do.
Beautiful. Jumping back to your time with Adelaide United, describe what it was like playing under the helm of a man who was probably South Australia's most recognisable and distinguished player turned manager and football personality, John Cosmina, who's Pana's dad, John, also played with once upon a time, just by the way. What was it like playing under Cosy?
Look, Cosy was great. The thing about Cosy is he does his research, and you know, Cosy knows a lot of players, and he knew a lot of players back then. He'd been around, obviously. He was really good. I think he was what the team needed at the time, and came in, really simplified the game plan, got his message across. It was like no disrespect, it was like a vanilla style sort of approach, but it's what we needed, because it was like guys from
all over the place.
Yeah. And you know, looking back, and I think it was very successful. I think the club's been very successful both back in that time, on and off the pitch. I mean, we were training. I think every couple of weeks would be at a different ground. You know, from Panthers to Campbelltowns to everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and people would come and watch.
What was the promotional drive like as well? Because you had to do a lot of like Rundle Mall visits and stuff like that. Do you remember back then?
Saw some of those photos. Yeah.
Adam Butler.
He documents everything, Adam Butler.
Yeah. It's not a good thing. What it was like, it was trying to get everyone go there so everyone can see our face, see who we are, I guess, and what we're trying to do, get them to buy into what the club is trying to do. And look, at the end of the day, without the fans backing it, it was never going to be successful.
And we have to appreciate as well, back then, we hadn't made a World Cup like we then did in 2006. The sports profile hadn't risen quite yet, and unless you had a personal past involvement in the game, you know, it was unlikely that you were going to have any interest in this new operation. So obviously the club had to work really, really hard to get the exposure out there.
That's right, and they did, and I think we could all see that and appreciate that from the first game against Brisbane. You know, it was a sold out stadium, I think 16,000,
correct,
if I remember correctly.
I was there, yep.
And that wouldn't have happened if, I guess, all that work hadn't been done prior.
For sure, well said. You're also part of a school of some of the finest players to ever come out of this state, including the likes of Carl Via, Richie Alagic, Shane Smeltz, Aurelio Vidmar, Ross Aloisi, the inaugural A-League captain, and Michael Valkanis, just to name a few. Do you still catch up with any of these legendary figures at all?
Look, it's not like we
get coffees every week.
We don't get coffees and talk about the old times.
Of course, some of them aren't even here anymore.
Yeah. Look, I speak to Mickey sometimes, here and there. Smells.
He's got an exciting new role now,
Yeah,
just by the way, over in Holland.
He does.
Breaking ground for Australian coaches.
Wish him all the best with that. He's very suited for that. Look, Carl Viet, I see him whenever I bump into him around the traps.
Sure.
But look, everyone. you know, everyone sort of thinks that you know, because you play together and that you all sort of hang out, but really,
you're all busy.
Yeah. The thing is, even when you move from one team to another team, you know, you think, oh, these are my best mates, and I'm you know, going to do everything with them. But once you leave that environment, you move into another environment or another team. Well, then your allegiance is there, and it's then you're sort of spending your time with that group, which you should really. But and then throw in kids, life, work, and all the rest of it. It's difficult.
It gets busy. No, well said. After your time with Adelaide United, you went on to excel playing locally for the next decade. First with Campbelltown, and then finishing up as a player with the Comets in 2014. Can you briefly touch on how the rest of your career unfolded from the last NSL season?
Look, after the NSL season, because there was a big gap by the time the A-League started.
Yeah.
I can't remember, it was over 12 months, I believe. I think it was close to 18 months.
Yeah, a lot of the other guys went over and played in Malaysia and things like that.
Yeah. I guess I came to a stage, even though still very young, I knew that there was other things that I wanted to do in my life and sort of to go on and do. And football had taken, you know, football takes a good chunk out of you, you know, whether it's your time, your effort, and what. And there was other things that I wanted to do. I wasn't really keen on moving interstate after that. I'd already been to Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra.
Sure.
I thought, you know what, I'm home now, I'm going to stay home. So I got involved in the family business, and soon after that got married and had kids, and then started playing in the local. Sorry, to answer your question.
A fair amount of time at Campbelltown, and then you eventually made the move.
Yeah, I love my time. Look, Campbelltown was actually it was Rocky Aloisi called me and said, "Why don't you come to Campbelltown?"
So just to clarify, it's Ross and John's dad.
Yeah. And Rocky had seen me play for Sassy. He sort of knew me as a kid as well. And he said, "Come and play." And I said, "Oh, I don't know, you know." And then he said, "Just come and watch." I went there and I saw their facilities and training sessions. And the thing is, like, because you're a footballer, you miss it.
Yeah.
You know, you miss it. And then I said, "Yeah, I'll sign." And I signed, and I made me captain. So I was captain there for 4 years. Left there, and then Barney Smith gives me a call. So after I left there, I wasn't going to play anymore. And then Barney Smith gives me a call and he goes, "Oh, do you want to come and..."
Thankfully for us.
But he said, "Oh, I'm going to go and..." He goes, "I've got a job with this team called the Comets." I was like, "Who?" He's like, "You're going to come and help me, you know, be
we've come a long way since those days.
Yes,
definitely. Well, luckily now that I know, thankfully for Barney Smith, if it wasn't for him, Minnie Leo wouldn't be this close. So
Yeah,
I'm going to thank Barney then. There you go.
Well, he called and he goes, "Oh, come, will you be assistant coach and you can play and you can be assistant coach." And I was like, "Yeah, all right." So I came here and just ended up playing. But I think I started off playing in midfield, and then he goes, "Listen, you're going to have to go up front." So then I started going up front and started scoring goals, and that's where I stayed. And I think Pana knows the stats more. I
do know the stats, but not off the top of my head. But you scored quite a few goals. Top goal scorer for about 3-4 years at the club, even maybe more, 5. But especially in that 2009, 10, 11 years when we were in that second division, about 12, 13, 14 goals. But back then we only played 18 game seasons, 20 game seasons, so it wasn't many games. But
no, honestly, I don't remember my goals. I don't remember anything. I think Pana's the guy that I go to he's the stats man.
There you go. We'll move on from that. So over to you, Dimi.
Yes.
You're regarded as a guy that's done just about everything there is to do at this club, ranging from sitting on the board to coaching grassroots and the under-18s currently, to mowing the grounds here at Ellis Park behind us, to travelling with the seniors on interstate trips. Describe what this club has meant to you over an entire lifetime.
It's indescribable. It gets to the point where the words...
We want you to have a go.
Yeah, the words... It's very hard to... look, I love this club. It's been my life. It's my second family. I've met so many great people at this club, and that's why I truly love being here. I mean, you meet great people that you actually want to come down to the club and be around. And I think one thing that we do have as a club quite collectively, even though we don't have a huge amount of support base, we've got the right people that want to succeed, and we're well-driven people, and like I said, we want to be the best club in South Australia, and once we get that, and that's NPL standard, once we get that accolade, we're not just going to sit there. We'll then try to be the best club in Australia.
For sure.
That's it. I mean, you just want to grow and be the best you can. And look, and not only that, you've got some really good people here that make it worth your while. So yeah, like I said, the senior trips were brilliant as well. You mean going over to Perth for the FFA Cup game, you mean being a part of that, getting to sit on the bench with Theo and the boys was unbelievable. It was experience that you're not going to be able to get every day. So, and it really, the FFA Cup was an insight of what professional football is. You know, just being able to be in that situation, the match commissioner, checking everything, and
Fox Sports.
It was a real buzz. I'm just lucky to be a part of it.
Beautiful, mate. Cameraman, can you just tell us, we got any comments?
Not much, just people want you to put on a hat.
No, I told you, should have.
Alright, we'll keep...
Everyone's a comedian.
We'll keep trekking along, so...
I reckon no one's written that. I reckon that wrong. It's gone and grilled you.
You know what? You're going to be fired up.
Yeah.
This is the last job you're doing, mate.
Oh man, I love the bands. So talk to us about AP, Dimi. Of course, most of the viewers are going to want to know a bit about AP because he did spend the majority of his junior playing days at this football club. You mentored the young man while he came through here at the club as a junior. What memories can you share of us regarding the lad back when he was a Comet?
Yeah, I wouldn't say much mentoring, but
what'd you do?
Yeah, I will say, like, I've known AP since a very, very young age. I mean, our families have been very close. I remember Bill Stunner, his father, played in the inaugural Adelaide Raiders team, and then my old man played in that.
So Adelaide Raiders were Comets once upon a time. For those that don't know their local football history.
My dad and then the Karamidas' father and a lot of those ex-NSL players started to get together. And so I've known Apostolos since me and him were babies, but then it got to a point where I started coaching my first year. As I was 19 years old, I wanted to coach an under-15s team because my neighbours, the Bellini boys, they didn't have a coach. And I just thought, you know what, I could do this. I've done a bit of school soccer and all this type of stuff. So I started taking that team and realising that Apostolos used to play in that team under 13s, but he actually moved on to Adelaide City the year before I was there. And as I got the job for the under 15s, I got in touch with him. Hey, do you want to play at the Comets? But at that time, he was trying for Sassy. But the one thing I remember him doing, and you know, whether I'm allowed to say it or not, he was at Sassy, and what would happen is Bill and Helen, they were his parents, they were building their new house, which is really nice. So Apostolos was living with his grandparents 2 streets away from Green Hill Road where we trained. And he'd actually message me. He'd go, whenever you're training, let me know, and I want to come. So he'd message me and I'd say, look, we're training Wednesdays, Fridays. He'd send me a message 5:30 if you want to, yep, can you pick me up? So I'd go and pick him up. He's now training with Sassy every morning, but he'd still want to come out and train. And that's one thing I remember from him. He was a passionate, he was very well driven. And I wasn't, messaging him, he was messaging me, bang, I'd go pick him up, being family friends and take him, and he'd just make the training session go that extra better. He had that quality about him. And one thing I know about Apostolos is, I don't know whether we're going to touch on that later on, but he's not scared. I'm being like, he's not scared.
I remember that last week.
No, we did see it last week, but even when he was 16 years old, and when Elias was assistant coach back then as well, and we got to give him his debut, he wouldn't phase him. And that's what I'm trying to say now. Even him debuting for Adelaide United, he wouldn't phase him. He's gone on and played Australia under 20s. It doesn't phase him. And whereas I got to coach in a reserves grand final and I shit myself the night before. I think, calm down, there's 100 people watching. Whereas this boy, you put him on any stage, I'm joking, not joking, you take him to Europe and it won't phase him. That's something mentally that he's got. And
it's important you mention that too, because he has a casual kind of aura about him.
Very casual.
But beneath that, he's obviously a very driven individual.
He's very driven.
And he knows what he wants, which is very much a testament to how far he's come already. It was recently announced that AP, this is for both of you, recently announced that AP will leave the club, as in Adelaide United, at the end of the season with a move to Western United, the newest A-League franchise pending. What does the future potentially hold for Apostolos Stamatelopoulos in your eyes for both of you? We'll start with you, Elias.
Look, I think it's a move that for him that probably needed to happen, maybe, in his eyes. At the end of the day, the kid, he just needs to play games. Okay, so he feels that he's going to play more games or be more successful over there. Then the way football is, you've got to take those opportunities. when they arise. And he's young enough, I guess. He's still got the energy to, and he's got, I'm sure he wants to prove a point as well. So I think he's going to do well over there. I think we also got to be careful. He's still young, moving away from home, from that sort of that home base can always be tricky.
He's still very young as well, obviously.
But I think he would do well. I think he would do well. He's a good player. Obviously, I love AB. I think he's a great kid. I remember seeing him out there when I was playing, and he was sort of coming through, and he just he's casual and that, but he's an ox. You put him out there.
He's intense.
He'll chase everything down. But also got to remember he's very young and he will mature as well as he goes, and he will become a much better player.
Dimi?
Yeah, likewise. I think it'll be a good move for him. Hopefully, getting him out of his comfort zone, which is here in Adelaide with his family, his friends, and all that. If by moving him to Melbourne, where he does have to do a lot of things by himself, might actually spur him on to take football to the next level, which I think he can do. He's been young. I think that's the thing. Everyone's looking at him saying, "Oh, why isn't Marco playing?" Well, you've got to remember he's only 18, 19 still. I think he just recently turned 22. His birthday a couple, 3-4 days ago. He's still a young lad, and I think the more football he gets, maybe by moving to a new franchise like
he'll be ahead in the pecking
order. He will be. He's
third right now.
Well, he's well known. He's well known now. He's scoring goals. He scored 2 goals against Wellington. He scored against the Mariners. He's not a big name in Gaelic, but he's just now well known.
Goals to starts ratio is actually quite impressive. People, since that first goal he scored against the Wanderers in January 2018, he's actually quite come on the scene since then. So
I've got a little stat for you as well, actually. AP started a couple of the last 2 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
Ever since Marco Kurz has actually announced that he's not going to stick around at the club, he's put AP in. So whether you want to put something
I've
I've
looked into that theory on the show already, and there's some legs there.
Knowing that he's not going to be at Adelaide United next year, maybe Marco's thinking, I want to put the best squad forward, and he's playing AP now. Look, you don't know.
There we go. We're going to try and get through this quickly. So he might go on to one day feature in World Cups and Champions Leagues. This is AP. But one thing is for sure, he'll be playing at this club once, whenever the day comes that he retires from playing professionally. Here's what he has to say about his affiliation with the Adelaide Comets. So he says, "I loved everything at Comets. I grew up with most of the boys there. Some of them are still there and have moved on. Players like Peter Kopsaftis, Anthony Bellini, Dimitri Pana, and Harry Keramidas. My dad has always been involved with the club and the Prez too. That's Jim Savalas. There is a family feeling there, and that is what I want to enjoy. And that is what I enjoy so much. That is why I went back there after my time at Sassy." He goes on to say, 100% Comets is my club when I retire. Whenever that day is, I will definitely go back and play for them. Guys, I want to just touch on the history of the Comets.
Like that. Maybe get that in his contract.
I want to just touch on the history of the Comets' connection with Adelaide United. Other than the likes of Evan Kostopoulos, who's now a City player, and a host of other ex-Comets that have represented Adelaide United's youth team, we've seen a host of friendlies played between both clubs. Yep. This might be one more in your ballpark, Dimi.
Yep.
Usually taking place during the A-League pre-season. Has this been a benefit to both clubs, in your opinion?
Of course it is. I think it's a benefit for the Adelaide Comets to play against the A-League team of Adelaide United. Not only that, you get to get your players to go up against the professionals in this country, and you then start to assess where we truly are at, even though they're in pre-season level, we're at the peak of our season because it's near the finals area. But it's always beneficial playing at Adelaide United. I think it's always good to make sure that the club, United itself, has that connection with all the local league clubs. It's very important. We can't just, we don't want Adelaide United to be the club that doesn't look after the local clubs underneath it. They should be really helping out and making sure that that support network between the both clubs is there, because at the end of the day, we're producing players, and ideally we want to be producing them to play A-League. So that's the idea.
That's the goal.
Well, exactly right. So Adelaide United then as well, I think in a federation point of view, they need to really work on having that connection with local league clubs, and saying, if we're going to take this player, well then there's got to be this. There's got to be an agreement between the both clubs where the local club doesn't just get absolutely ransacked.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be some sort of
and they're willing
plan. Yeah, it has to be because I mean, yeah, we're developing players, and it's not just us. You see many A-League, you see many local league clubs that produce players to go onto the A-League, and they need to be compensated. So yeah,
sure. And well said. We've seen various player visits from Adelaide United here at Ellis Park on juniors as training nights.
Yeah.
How critical is it for prospective juniors to be in touch with their heroes? As both of you have been in that position before, Pana, as I understand it, Demo was your hero back when you were a junior.
He still is.
Yeah,
he still is.
So it's obviously important for young players, particularly the sort of the grassroots phase, to be in touch with their heroes.
Yeah, no, it's very important. I mean,
so Flores has come out. There's been a fair few from the club, not just AP.
Oh, in regards to coming out to our training sessions, it's. I mean, Adelaide United do very well, and I believe it's your good mate Cutsy there that organises that. Shout out to Cuts. But yeah, I mean, they get in contact. Ruben Garcia Byrne, if you don't know him as well, very good friend.
I'm aware of Ruben.
Yeah, very good lad. He gets in contact with all the clubs at local level, gets the Adelaide United players to come down, sign autographs, interact with kids, which is important. Like Demo mentioned earlier, giving that promotion to make sure that Adelaide United is our club. I mean, wanting Adelaide people to go to the games to support the club. So, especially at a time where it's
attendance is dwindling. Yeah, correct.
I think it's also really important that, like, for these young players out there, I think what's missing from the game, especially at this level now, is actually good role models. You know, within the senior setup, whether it might be from an A-League club or whether it's the senior team, senior NPL team, or whatever it might be, is just having good role models within the club that players can look up to. You know, and so the younger players can aspire, because I'm sure, you know, Pana was aspiring to be like me.
I was trying to. When I started to control the ball and this didn't work.
And he discovered he needed to be a coach. Now look, any comments just quickly?
No.
No? Anyone watching?
Yeah, 17.
Beautiful. We're going to get into the preview, guys. So, Adelaide United versus Melbourne City tomorrow, Saturday, 5 o'clock PM at Amy Park. So, coming in for United, Pacific Nyongabire is promoted, as well as Luis Dorigo and Carlo Amiento. Out, Apostolos Stamatelopoulos. Haven't we tried to get our tongue around that name a fair bit this evening? Unavailable, Ryan Strain, Baba Diawara. That's nothing new there. Ken Ilso with what's going on with Ken, the suspension, and Jordan Elsey. Which is a big loss. For City, Ins, Dario Vidicic, Jacopo LaRocca. We know all about those two, former United players, of course. No outs. Unavailable, another former Adelaide United player in Scott Jamieson with a toe issue, and Moody Najjar has an ankle problem. Some quick facts and stats. So, Adelaide have not beaten City in their previous 6 encounters, and hope that changes as they look to maintain hope of securing 4th spot and a home final. Moreover, City have not lost a game at Amy Park in their past 10 matches.
Ooh.
In 28 matches, Adelaide have won 11 games to City's 10, and there's been 7 draws. We've scored 43 goals historically to their 43. How do you like that? Moving into the key components, guys. Makeshift centre-back Michael Moroney scored a towering headed goal against the Phoenix. However, he's already getting on with it and looking ahead to tomorrow's super important game. He had the following to say. From what I've seen, they're very good in terms of defending in numbers and shape. When analysing City's strengths, and they make it compact and make it difficult, and when they've got the ball they can produce something out of nothing because they've got a couple of special players. We're just going to have to be compact ourselves, and I think the main thing is not to concede, and we'll get our chances. Like last game, if we can get some balls on the counter to the wide players and get good deliveries into the box, we're a chance. Now, for both of you, you've both played, probably, if you don't mind me saying, this man at a slightly higher level. How good is it seeing a sturdy centre-half, Elias, coming up with crucial goals?
I personally don't care where they come from, as long as we get them in the back of the net.
Okay, probably not the right. I mean, as a striker, maybe not the right person to ask. But doesn't it warm the heart to see less of a ball player get up unexpectedly and score crucial goals?
We're hoping for that tomorrow again when we play Blue Eagles, maybe another
for sure.
When you flick on to make it 1-0. But no, it's like Demi says, you wherever it comes from, you just want the goals to go in. And you know, for Moroney to score goals, and he's actually been a loyal, passionate Adelaide United player over the past years. It's actually good to see him doing quite well and playing a different position as well, mind you. So,
guys, we're getting towards the end. Would we all agree during last week's Adelaide United vs Wellington game that AP probably displayed the best example of a mixed bag, given his crucial grace and extraordinary send-off. Did this show virtually in 1 minute how much potential he has, yet at the same time how inexperienced he still is comparatively with other established A-League stars? Demo?
Look, there's also a lot of things that go through, like we said, he's very young, and a lot of the time you don't know where his head at, or he might not even know where his head's at, and there's a lot of things, especially today with social media and what goes on, outside of football, inside football, and sometimes you just have a brain snap or a brain freeze, but
he'll get over it.
As you get older and mature, you learn to deal with those
He'll stand that out of his game.
And those outside elements that just focus, be able to sort of, build like a little fortress around you to protect you from these outside elements, so then it allows you to focus on what you need to do out in the park on any given Saturday.
Well articulated. Now, Dimi.
Yes.
Warren Joyce.
Yes.
You hung out with him once upon a time. Pictured here, you got to oversee his training session during his first season at Melbourne City. Now, he's come under fire recently concerning City's style of play and supposed lack of identity. You were fortunate enough to spend some time at City's training base at La Trobe Uni, as we just said, with the rest of the Comets as senior coaches. You met Warren Joyce and got to see you in action. Tell us about this experience and your overall views on the man. Whatever people's opinions of him are, it's undeniable how experienced he is.
No, exactly right. I actually, once we got to meet not only Warren but Tony Vidmar going to Melbourne City's training session, we actually went over there as a pre-season get-together pretty much. We got to play against Melbourne City, which was a great experience. Copped a bit of a whack, 6-0 loss. But look, it was it was a really good experience actually. Warren, we got to watch a training session, and not only that, afterwards showed us around the facility. It's an unbelievable facility. When we talk about world class, it is exactly that. I mean, it's really, really top notch. And not only that, afterwards got to sit down and talk to us. I think it was only supposed to be there for 2-3 hours, but we ended up staying 6-7 hours. And Warren and Tony sat down and spoke to all 4 or 5 of us, the coaching staff there, just bouncing ideas off each other's heads, and just really good. Like you said, the man is very experienced. One thing I got out of that 3-4 hour chat was that he is a stubborn man. And you know what? I think as a coach, you need to have that stubbornness. You need to make sure that, your point needs to get across, and that's how he is. He doesn't like to. He's not grey. You clearly see the man's black or white, and he's going to go with the decision. So, you've seen the likes of Valkanis, Cahill. A lot of players have come in. Players have come in, and then players have gone. And he told me a way of approach that he was told at Man United. I don't think I can say it on the.
Oh, come on, man!
It was a bit of swear words involved. He pretty much told us the way I operate is FIFO, and I said FIFO. I think it's play with FIFA. It's FIFA. And he goes FIFO, FIFO. He goes, you either fit in or you
we'll leave that to the imagination.
But that's how he is. And that you need to buy into what he needs to do, or else you're no use to it. So, and whoever you are, look, he said no to Cahill, he said no to Fornaroli. These are big players, but in saying that as well, you need to back yourself. But then once you back yourself, you need to get the results on the board as well. So, yeah, it's a tough situation. But like I said, I've got a really good relationship. Respect for him for doing what he did to us, and we got a lot out of it. So, yeah.
Any comments, young man?
No.
No one's interested. All right. We're going to try to race through this as quickly as we can. So both clubs have struggled immensely to score goals this season. Demo, are we bound to see a scoreless 4 draw tomorrow, or will the desperation of wanting to secure a place in the top 4 ensure both of these sides come out and attack one another? What do you reckon?
I think a draw could be on the cards.
Yeah. Not necessarily a boring one.
No, but I think it can go either way, really. It depends, who's fit, who's actually going to start.
Yeah.
And I guess the key objectives of obviously United needs to score or would like to score and get the 3 points and secure that spot in the finals. But I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Sure. AP's been told his punishment for his setting off last week is to host a team barbecue. Pana, did the lad ever get behind the old Ellis Park kitchen fryer back in the day at all?
No, he didn't.
In front of it.
No, he didn't. Look, I think it's a really nice Marco does. I mean, it's
creative fine, isn't it?
It is a very creative fine, and I've been told that he has to pay for the meat as well. So that's,
he did just quote us a figure too, and it's he won't want to do that again.
No, look, exactly right. He'll buy the meat. He'll cook the lads a barbecue, and I think that's a great way to get them to bond, and only that realise that he did muck up. So,
and that's also credit to the coach as well, to being able to sort of, not every punishment fits every player. Where AP is at the moment, given his age and what did actually happen, and that, I think he's handled it very well.
Appropriate way to go about it. Guys, we're almost there. Our key player versus theirs and final predictions for the City game. We'll start with you, Demo. So Adelaide's key player versus City.
I think Isaias is key for us.
Yeah.
Sure. I think he is. I think if he's on the park, then things can happen for us. I think if he's not, we could possibly struggle. As in for a prediction, I'd rather not say. No, I think it's going to be difficult. Away from home is going to be very difficult.
You're at Adelaide.
I think we're going to struggle. As in for a win.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Hannah?
I'm going to keep my bias cap on, and I'm going to say our key player is going to be Nathan Constantopoulos, who's also an ex-Adelaide Comets player.
Shout out to him.
Young lad who's a top kid, very well respected.
Been getting a few starts recently.
No, he's been doing very well, and he deserves it, because I don't think there's anyone in the A-League that puts that amount of time and effort into his game. He really is a fanatic, and it's great to see Nathan doing well. So I'm going to say he's our key player for this week. For them, I'm pretty sure, is Eugene going to be playing?
Should be.
Well, Eugene last game absolutely kept him in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's brilliant.
He's had some blinders this year.
Unbelievable.
Just seems to get better with age, like a final.
I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
1-1. Yeah. That was the last result between both sides as well.
Yeah.
Away to City. Now, Elias, you're back coaching here in the first team setup, as was previously mentioned. Tell us how the team's travelling in this season's NPL. And also tell us what the coaching staff is expecting when you lock horns with United's NPL team on April the 27th and on the 27th of July in the return fixture.
Okay. Well, the team at the moment, we've been in charge for, Con and myself have been in charge for two or 3 weeks now.
So that's Con Antonio as well?
Yes.
Come over from Metro Stars?
Yep. Ex-player as well of the Comets. Teams, look, we've been very impressed with the team. We Con's come in and sort of changed the philosophy a bit and the approach, and I think it was really important for us to get those 3 points from Raiders last week, because it's given the players have now bought into what we're trying to do and what we've said, and I think on the back of that game, we're heading into tomorrow's game very confident against Blue Eagles. But with the United game, I think will give us another, 2 weeks with the team, which we will then continue to improve and just add a few other different elements to, because it's a different team. Adelaide United youth compared to Blue Eagles are a different type.
Completely different.
Yeah, so we'll tweak a few things, and
they are going pretty well under Paul Pezos as well.
Yeah. Paul's a fantastic coach. And he's got them firing. So it's going to be a tough game by all means. It should be a high-paced, very intense game.
Beautiful. Last one's for you, Dimi.
Yep.
Can you take us through what these new facilities? We're in the boardroom, the brand new Comets boardroom.
Yep.
What do these new facilities mean for the future of the club, and whether you expect the growing number of juniors here to continue to increase as a result of the new infrastructure?
It's a huge bonus for the club. I mean, being able to have more change rooms. I mean, we only had 2 change rooms previously. Now we've got, 4. We've got coaches' rooms downstairs. We've got, physio rooms,
bars, kitchens.
Then we go upstairs. You've got a gym. Downstairs you've got the gym, which players can use. You've then got upstairs the bar,
it's breaking ground for
huge.
And
the balcony, don't worry, afterwards me and Ellis will sit down to a nice chicken schnitzel out sitting on the balcony there. It's actually beautiful. You get to watch the kids train. It's unbelievable. Look, to answer your question about trying to get more juniors, we always want to get more juniors. Still to this day we're turning down juniors, which is disappointing, but when you look out there, there's actually no room. So, it's important that we lobby with the council to try and get a hold of this beautiful land here that's just being used for cats and dogs and nothing else. I mean, we want to maximise.
You want to expand.
At the end of the day, no one wants to be saying goodbye to kids to play football. Especially at junior level, you want everyone to play. You want everyone to enjoy this beautiful game. So,
John Felitas said, "Tell Dimi to take a breath."
Has he? No, it's good.
We wish him well.
Johnny's doing a very good job down at the Adelaide Cobras.
The Cobras, they're playing Johnny Moore's team, Eastern United.
Well, Cobras were 2-1 down with 10 men. Johnny Felitas, bang, gets them pumped up, ready to go with 10 men, beat the Pirates 3-2. So no, Johnny.
Bloody good on John Felitas. Now, I really want to thank both of you for featuring in the live preview show this week. It's been great seeing what the new facilities are like. Thanks for having us in here. Mr. Demourtzidis, it looks like between now and the remainder of the season, there's renewed belief and definitely potential for the Comets to still salvage something from this season. If not win the league, which is still obviously very possible. We wish you all the very best in your endeavours, wherever coaching takes you, whether it's staying at the Comets in the long term or not. And as for you, Dimi, thank you for being a part of the show tonight. You are one of the most iconic heads of local football in the state, I think. I think you're recognised at any ground you go into, and it's been great getting you on the show.
Certain clubs still charge though, which is, how does that work? Nah, look, we appreciate it. It's always good that what people like yourself are doing to promote not only the local game, but the game in Australia to get it hopefully where we want it to be. So, we really enjoyed it.
Lads, all the best, and thanks to our cameraman as well.
All right.
Young man, you'll be back out playing soon. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you catch the game tomorrow night against Melbourne City. 5 o'clock kickoff on Fox Sports. We'll see you very soon back in the studio. Cheers, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.